Don't be afraid to fail. Good evening, my friends. Today I want to talk about failure not as a burden, not as a curse, but as a gift, a teacher, and a step forward. So many of us live in fear of failure. We avoid challenges, we shrink from risks, and we silence our dreams thinking, what if I fall? What if I can't do it? But let me ask you, what if you soar? What if the very thing you're afraid of becomes the turning point of your life? I stand here today to remind you that failure is not the opposite of success, it is a part of it. You see, failure is life's way of saying you are trying, you are stepping out of your comfort zone, and stepping out is where the magic happens. A baby falls hundreds of times before they learn to walk, but you don't hear anyone say, stop trying, you'll never get it. No, we cheer for them. We know that every stumble brings them closer to standing tall. Why then do we treat ourselves differently? Some of you might be carrying the weight of past failures. Maybe it's a business that didn't work out, a relationship that broke apart, or a dream you left behind because it seemed too hard. I know it's painful. I know it hurts to fall. But I also know this failure is not final. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is a part of it. This is a truth that so many of us struggle to embrace because society often portrays failure as something negative, something to be avoided at all costs. From a young age, we are conditioned to equate success with perfection and failure with inadequacy. We grow up fearing mistakes as if they are markers of our worth, as if falling short means we are less capable, less intelligent, or less deserving. But this mindset robs us of the freedom to try, to explore, and to truly live. The reality is, success and failure are not two separate destinations, they are part of the same journey. You cannot achieve great things without encountering setbacks along the way. Every person who has ever accomplished anything meaningful has experienced failure, sometimes over and over again. The world's most successful people are not those who avoided failure, but those who embraced it, learned from it, and kept moving forward. They understood that failure is not a dead end, it is a stepping stone. Imagine a scientist working tirelessly on an experiment. They failed dozens, maybe hundreds of times, before finally discovering the breakthrough they were searching for. Every failed experiment, every wrong turn, teaches them something valuable. It shows them what doesn't work, which brings them closer to understanding what does. In the same way, our personal and professional failures are opportunities for growth and learning. Each one carries lessons that can shape us into stronger, wiser, and more capable individuals if we are willing to see them that way. When we look at failure as part of success, it changes how we approach challenges. Instead of avoiding risks for fear of failure, we begin to see risks as opportunities. Instead of being paralyzed by the possibility of making a mistake, we are driven by the chance to grow. This shift in perspective empowers us to take bold steps toward our goals, even if those steps feel uncertain or uncomfortable. Failure also strips away the illusion of control and perfection. It reminds us that we are human, that we are imperfect, and that this imperfection is not something to be ashamed of. When we fail, we confront our limitations, but we also uncover our resilience. We learn how to adapt, how to persevere, and how to find strength in the face of adversity. These qualities are essential not only for success, but for living a fulfilling and meaningful life. It humbles us and teaches us empathy. It helps us to connect with others who are also struggling, fostering a sense of shared humanity. When we have experienced failure, we become more compassionate and understanding toward others who are navigating their own challenges. We realize that success is not just about reaching the top, it's about the journey and the growth that happens along the way. There's also a deeper, often unspoken gift in failure. It clarifies what truly matters. Sometimes failing at something forces us to pause and reevaluate our goals, our values, and our purpose. It pushes us to ask hard questions. Am I pursuing this for the right reasons? Is this truly what I want? These moments of reflection can lead to profound insights and a renewed sense of direction. Failure teaches us to be patient, to trust the process, and to stay committed even when the path is uncertain. It teaches us to let go of the fear of judgment and to focus on our own growth and progress. When we embrace failure as part of success, we stop viewing it as something to be feared and start seeing it as something to be valued. Failure becomes not a weight that drags us down, but a force that propels us forward. It becomes a necessary, even beautiful, part of the process of becoming our best selves. Every failure is a step closer to growth and achievement. This is a powerful idea that challenges the way we typically perceive failure. Most people see failure as an obstacle, something that halts progress or sets them back. They view it as an endpoint, a reason to quit or give up. But in reality, failure is rarely the end of anything. Instead, it is an integral part of the journey toward growth and success. Each failure carries with it a lesson that contributes to our personal and professional development. When we experience failure, it forces us to confront our assumptions, to reevaluate our approach, and to reassess what we truly want. This process of self-reflection and correction is vital for growth. Without failure, we might never question our methods or challenge the beliefs that limit us. In the face of failure, we have an opportunity to expand our understanding and sharpen our skills. It is in these moments of struggle that we often learn the most about ourselves, our abilities, and our potential. Failure brings us face to face with our weaknesses, but it also provides us with the tools to strengthen them. When we fail, we are given the chance to correct our mistakes, to refine our strategies, and to adjust our mindset. For example, a student who fails an exam might have to reconsider how they study or approach the material. The failure doesn't mean they are incapable of succeeding. It simply shows them where they need to improve, where they need to put in more effort, and where they need to grow. In this way, failure acts as a guide, pointing out the areas that require attention and growth. It's important to recognize that growth doesn't happen in a straight line. Success is rarely a linear path. More often than not, it's a series of peaks and valleys with setbacks that force us to take detours, reassess our goals, or even change direction. When we experience failure, we often feel discouraged or disheartened, but it's essential to understand that these setbacks are not permanent. They are simply detours, leading us to a better understanding of our own potential. Failure gives us the chance to pivot, to rethink our approach, and to move forward with newfound knowledge. Each time we fall, we are presented with a choice to stay down or to get back up. It is this act of getting up, of persevering in the face of adversity, that fosters the strength and resilience we need to achieve our goals. Resilience isn't built in moments of comfort or ease. It is forged in the crucible of failure. When we keep going despite our setbacks, we prove to ourselves that we are capable of handling challenges, of facing difficulty, and of ultimately overcoming it. One of the most significant lessons failure teaches us is that success is not about avoiding mistakes, but about learning how to navigate them. When we embrace failure as a natural part of the process, we start to view it not as a defeat, but as an opportunity for improvement. Each time we fail, we gain a deeper understanding of our strengths and weaknesses. We begin to see failure not as something to fear, but as a necessary part of the learning process. As we continue to fail and learn from those failures, we grow closer to achieving our goals and dreams. Another way in which failure leads to growth is by helping us develop a growth mindset. A growth mindset is the belief that our abilities and intelligence can be developed with effort and practice. When we fail, it doesn't mean we are permanently incapable. It simply means we need to try harder, work smarter, and remain persistent. Failure challenges us to push beyond our limits, to see possibilities where we once saw obstacles, and to keep moving forward even when the way is unclear. Failure teaches the value of persistence and patience. It reminds us that the road to success is not quick or easy. It requires time, effort, and a willingness to learn from every mistake along the way. With each failure, we take one more step toward the person we want to become. And with each lesson we learn, we get closer to the success we desire. Failure then becomes not a setback, but a stepping stone, an essential part of the process that leads us toward our goals. Failure is a teacher, not a destroyer. Let it refine you, not define you. This simple yet profound idea is the key to transforming how we view and respond to setbacks in life. Too often, failure is seen as a negative force, something that diminishes our value or erodes our confidence. It is easy to feel defeated when we fall short of expectations, whether they are our own or those imposed by others. But failure does not have to be the end of the story. In fact, failure can be one of the most valuable teachers we will ever encounter if only we are willing to learn from it. When we fail, it is tempting to see ourselves as failures. We internalize the experience and let it define who we are. This mindset traps us in a cycle of self-doubt and fear, making it harder to move forward. But failure is not about who we are, it is about what we do. It is an event, not an identity. When we separate ourselves from our failures, we create space to view them objectively. This shift in perspective allows us to analyze what went wrong, understand why it happened, and identify what we can do differently next time. Failure refines us by highlighting our weaknesses and areas for improvement. It shines a light on the gaps in our knowledge, skills, or preparation, giving us a clear sense of where we need to grow. This process is not always comfortable, but it is necessary for personal and professional development. For instance, an entrepreneur who experiences a failed business venture learns invaluable lessons about planning, execution, and resilience. These lessons, gained through failure, become the foundation for future success. The refinement that comes from failure is not a punishment, but a gift, a chance to become better, stronger, and wiser. One of the most powerful aspects of failure is its ability to build humility. When we experience success, it is easy to believe that we have all the answers. Failure reminds us that we are human, that we are imperfect, and that there is always more to learn. This humility is essential for growth. It opens us up to feedback, encourages us to seek guidance, and fosters a mindset of continuous improvement. Instead of seeing failure as a sign of inadequacy, we can embrace it as evidence of our willingness to try, to take risks, and to step outside of our comfort zones. Failure also teaches us resilience. Life is full of challenges, and success rarely comes without effort and persistence. Each failure we encounter tests our resolve and pushes us to keep going despite setbacks. Resilience is not about avoiding failure, it is about learning how to rise after we fall. Every time we get back up, we prove to ourselves that we are stronger than we thought. This resilience becomes a cornerstone of our character, helping us face future obstacles with confidence and determination. Failure helps us build empathy as well. When we experience setbacks, we gain a deeper understanding of the struggles others face. This shared experience of challenge and disappointment connects us to others on a human level. It allows us to support, encourage, and inspire those who are walking similar paths. Empathy born from failure fosters meaningful relationships and reminds us that we are not alone in our journey. Perhaps the most important lesson failure teaches us is that it is not the end of the road. Each failure is an opportunity to try again, to refine our approach, and to move closer to our goals. It is a stepping stone, not a stumbling block. When we stop fearing failure and start learning from it, we unlock the potential to achieve things we never thought possible. We begin to see failure not as a force that destroys, but as a force that builds, shapes, and refines. Don't fear falling, fear living so small that failure is never an option. This idea challenges the way many of us approach life. We often spend so much time avoiding failure that we forget to fully embrace the possibilities around us. We shrink our dreams, lower our ambitions, and play it safe, thinking that staying within the boundaries of what feels comfortable will protect us from disappointment. But the truth is, this fear of failure doesn't shield us from pain. It traps us in mediocrity and prevents us from reaching our full potential. When we live in fear of falling, we build walls around ourselves. We avoid risks and challenges because we're afraid of what might go wrong. But by doing this, we also shut out the opportunities for growth, discovery, and achievement that come with stepping outside our comfort zones. Living small might feel safe, but it comes at a cost. It denies us the chance to explore what we're capable of, to push our limits, and to create something extraordinary. The fear of failure may keep us from falling, but it also keeps us from flying. A life without failure is not a life of success. It's a life of missed opportunities. Every time we choose to stay in our comfort zone, we pass up a chance to learn, grow, and achieve something greater. Failure is not the enemy of success, it's often the path to it. Many of the world's greatest achievements have come from people who were willing to take risks, even when failure seemed likely. They understood that the possibility of falling was a price worth paying for the chance to soar. By fearing failure, we deny ourselves the same opportunity to dream big and achieve big. There is something freeing about accepting that failure is a natural part of the process. When we stop fearing it, we open ourselves up to new possibilities. We stop holding ourselves back and begin to embrace challenges with curiosity and determination. Falling is not the problem, refusing to try is. The real failure is not in falling down, it's in never giving ourselves the chance to rise. The act of trying, even when the outcome is uncertain, is what leads to growth and progress. It's what allows us to discover what we're truly capable of. When we live in fear of failure, we often settle for less than we deserve. We stick to what feels safe and familiar, even when it doesn't fulfill us. We tell ourselves that it's better to avoid risks than to face the possibility of falling short. But deep down, we know that playing small doesn't satisfy our longing for meaning and purpose. We are meant for more than just avoiding failure. We are meant to pursue our dreams, even when the path is uncertain. The fear of falling may protect us from disappointment, but it also keeps us from living fully. Taking risks and embracing the possibility of failure doesn't mean being reckless. It means being courageous. It means having the strength to chase after what matters most to us, even when the odds are uncertain. It means being willing to face challenges, setbacks, and obstacles in the pursuit of something greater. This courage doesn't come from the absence of fear, but from the willingness to act in spite of it. When we choose courage over comfort, we give ourselves the freedom to live a life that is bold, meaningful, and true to who we are. The fear of failure often comes from worrying about what others might think or say. We fear judgment, rejection, or criticism if we fall short. But the opinions of others are not what define us. What truly matters is how we respond to our own challenges, how we learn from our experiences, and how we grow as individuals. Living small to avoid the judgment of others only limits our potential. It keeps us from discovering what we're capable of and from achieving the things that truly matter to us. The possibility of failure will always be a part of life, but so is the possibility of success. When we stop fearing failure, we give ourselves permission to dream big and take the steps necessary to make those dreams a reality. We start living with purpose and intention instead of settling for what feels safe and easy. Falling is not the worst thing that can happen. Never trying is. A life lived fully, with risks and challenges, is far richer than a life spent avoiding failure. It's through taking chances that we find our strength, our purpose, and the joy of discovering what we're truly capable of achieving.